What is up? How's it going today? Well, this is Pancake Marathon. You know what is up, how's it do, and what's going on. Essentially, this is just how I carry my message of recovery. You know, there's so many factors on the simplicity of over complicating things and not looking at it in the right way. That's essentially, isn't that why and how we hold on to the pain? Addiction, essentially. And just to clarify that context of what recovery is, it's learning how to let go of that pain, that addiction, essentially, and getting back to a peace of mind, simply to say. I mean, it says that right there in the steps, right? To get restored back to sanity, right? And yeah, sure, the message of any 12-step recovery, you know, of the fellowship itself is that of what? To come to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Absolutely. Yet that's what tradition 6 is about. You don't be the face of that fellowship, right? Regardless of what flavor of recovery it actually really is. Is it AA worded, or is it NA worded, or is it CMA worded? Just a fun little thing, because I know when I get serious. Absolutely. Because one of my character defects, in a simpler way of saying, you know, where am I overcompensating for my yet to, in that moment, to say, it's okay. I need to admit that this is just the way that it is, right? Because I don't need to judge it unworthy. Why? It's a spiritual program in a sense. It is. Yet this is a spiritual approach in the theme of how I can word things. How at that moment and at this moment, essentially, to say, how can I get back to a peace of mind? Because that's ultimately what we all are trying to do within recovery, is get back to a peace of mind. And so, simply to say, what inspired me? Yeah, we can put that in recovery terms. Was my spiritual awakening because of the spiritual experience of me manifesting through my experience, strength, and hope of what I only can give to you, basically, right? Of what I have, because I can only give you what I have, and I can only keep what I have by giving it away. Simply to say, don't act like I can hoard and be greedy or be so self seeking. I think it's funny when some would say, as my intuition says, don't say this, so I really can't say it, because there's a point. There's a point to listen to the little inside voice when it comes down to, you really absolutely go and do into itself. And now I'm getting that whole of, well, this is why you didn't want to say that, because you wanted to explain that somebody needed to hear that. And how I say hearing, well, in a sense of saying, simply to say, oh my goodness, I need to go back and kind of listen to what I was going to say. But now my intuition saying, go ahead and say it, you know, uh, and simply to say of hearing basically is, in the simplest way of how I carry the message of my peace of mind, essentially, is listening to some. Some would have that level and value system within the belief, come to believe that that's how they're going to get restored to sanity, that peace of mind. Some, as quoting, the fellowship's message is that, it's a higher power. Okay, that's cool. But my message of recovery, how I speak, essentially, is that it's a peace of mind. What else would then be serenity, right? What else would then be a non-judgmental state? Serenity, right? Of whatever it may be. And that's essentially what it kind of comes down to. Simply to say, is that you want to be restored to sanity. You want to have a peace of mind. Because I really do comprehend the inner standing within itself of, you're asking for help, right? Are you not asking for help when you say, I'm being a poop head right now? Yeah, you're not saying that in verbatim. Yet the context of what you're really trying to accomplish is, I don't know how to do this. I need help. And yet that's where the power of admitting, really comes down to. It really, really is that absolute magnanimous absolute. You know, magnanimous is just perfection. It's perfect. It's serenity. It is what it is. And absolutes are only as truth. The truth of the matter is that it's absolute. And truth will always come to the surface, no matter what way anyone was clever enough to we not, for those that comprehend hiding things in that sense of being able to relate, sure, but they're not hiding anything. Did you ask enough questions? Did you just accept what their truth at that moment is? Or another way of looking at it is that it is, how did everyone have a peace of mind at that moment? Yes. Was it inconvenient? Oh, absolutely. Was it the most efficient and productive way? Probably not. Probably not. But you got to eat today after the fact, right? Or tomorrow, in a sense, because, unless it's like an instant kind of a thing to where you're going to get that after you get done, which wouldn't that make so much more sense than having to, oh, let me be patient for the time of getting the income accrued and then being me reimbursed for my sweat equity, my time, my effort, and my energy after the fact, right? I think that would make super more sense. It absolutely would. Wouldn't that make sense to get a bank loan from that standpoint? Probably. Yet, even though there's points to that's a challenge upon itself. I'm just saying, when like it's just credit, it's not even crediting yourself. It's that organization per se, right? They would credit you because from their standpoint, but they would actually give it to you if they have it, right? If they have it, then why wouldn't that make sense? They're already going to give that to you. What are they doing with it? There's points. And then that's not even looking at it the right way, which is the whole entire aspect of what this podcast, this episode per se is really highlighting. If you're not looking at it in the way of the solution, you're looking at the problem, your addiction. And that's what recovery is kind of about. You are letting go of that pain, or you're trying to. Just like step 12, you try to carry the message, right? Now, your message might sound like recovery or a fellowship way of phrasing things. Sure, okay. Yet, you're missing the point. You're shooting the messenger. You're not focusing on the message of what is the way that you're going to speak. No one said in recovery that you have to speak like anyone. That's what they mean by spirituality. It's a spiritual program. Anonymity is everything. Anonymity, let it be nameless. And so going back to the whole corporation, looking at it in a more of a levity, lightheartedness, not resting on your laurels, your past actions, your past actions, levity, bringing, the love and joy into every moment, simply to say, is that it is that simplicity of itself right there. Yes, you're in pain. Okay, and going back to what I was saying earlier of you are asking for help even if it's not worded that way. There's a point to where, yes, you're asking for help. Keep on praying, keep on asking, keep on cleaning your side of the street, keeping your house in order. You know how I like to word it or phrase it, and whatever it may be is zen your garden. All of those things are indicating work on yourself. Don't be like Batman's approach. Be like the Joker's approach. That's why Batman and Robin was actually written. To showcase the metaphor in a metaphor. That's the best way to carry a message. Right? And songs and everything does that. In a simple way of saying, unless they're really trying to figure out things and really trying to find out, is that the most efficient way, productive way? Maybe actually it is, but no one's telling me the common sense of why that's the approach. They're just saying do it. And it's like, hang on, what? No, I can't handle that. That makes no sense to me. I do not comprehend just do what I'm told. That is one of the most BS, being stupid, ways of life. And I'm not going to BS my way through life and being stupid. Simply to say, I'm going to go ahead and BS my way and being smart, being simple, being satisfied, so that I can thrive as what is living, right? I don't want to just survive. I don't want to get by. I don't want to be like, oh, okay, let me get angry later or right now, but not show it, right? I want to actually be part of the solution, not the problem. Because if I don't, get off that high horse in every moment, yes, there's a point where it's so challenging to be a therapist on yourself. It's so much easier to play therapist with everyone else. Peer to peer therapeutic value of approaches. You know, it's so it's so challenging to actually go ahead and just take a step back, admit that okay, this is what's going on right now, and I am powerless, and it is making my life unmanageable. Right? So what do I need to do? Right? Come to believe something, right? And then make a decision, right? And then take some inventory of what's going on, because I'm taking a moment not just to react. I'm going to act on what is appropriate, right? Okay, so then we go ahead and we could say, what is step five? What is step five? Do we have humility? Right, right. And then, oh no, 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 to admit to everyone else what's going on. Let's have some communication. Then step six is what? Humility, right, right. No, no, no. That's okay. Since we admitted these things to everything around us, even to ourselves, right? Let's go ahead and just let it go. Let go and let God. And then now there's the humility factor, right? And then we're going to take another approach to what the etymology of persons, men, thoughts, a fallacy, because those things don't exist without man, right? And yeah, so there's that theme of, legalese, where a person is not people. I don't care what you've been told how to think. That is not, in legalese, verbatim aspects of anything. That is not, other than the third degree of language, simply to say, that is not what life is about. No, it is not. Yes, maybe in formal, okay, per se, just a little bit, and yet definitely not in common. Actually, that's not true. It absolutely is in common language these days, slang, the first degree of language, because that's what everybody is go ahead about their day, because that's what they agreed upon. Common language is just an agreed thing that is not written down in a formal second degree of language dictionary. Essentially to say, in dictionaries per se, except for the Urban Dictionary, basically, society's dictionary, in a simple way of saying, the slang upon itself language, you know. And yet going back to that whole of the absolute of, a paycheck and getting what you deserve from that, trading your time and all that kind of stuff as such, right? To the simple fact of, why get it back too late, 2 weeks, or whatever amount of time later? Why not get it now? And looking at it more of an appropriate, light-hearted, not being so serious, because I know when I'm serious, everything's going to blow up. I'm going to be a poop head to everybody. That's why I know if I'm serious, it's not going to work out. I'm being busy. I'm going back to basically active addiction mode, and I'm going to use. I'm going to be, and I'm going to find the loopholes in making your life miserable because you didn't realize, regardless if I'm in recovery or not, you thought I wasn't. Maybe you didn't even, regardless if you know I'm in recovery or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to know that you are wrong, and I don't care. You are stupid. You are doing it the wrong way. Why are you not working on yourself? I don't care if I told you to do it the right way, because that is the right way. I don't care if you don't think I'm having the best for everything because I didn't talk right to make you feel emotionally supported in all of your aspects. I don't have the time for that. Okay? I don't. I don't. When do I have the time? When I actually can go ahead and not have to be busy. right? There's points where I'm highlighting the fact of if I'm at work, right? I don't have time to reparent you. Maybe I do, but you're missing the point. Maybe you're in your pain and you shut down and your hearing skills and you're just listening for the cue of I can go home. Where is that bell at? Where is the ding? Where is the clock out moment to where I can stop caring about this place because I don't care right now? Simply to say. And I just want to highlight then, if you don't care now, when are you going to care later? Right? If you don't change the way that you look at it, nothing is going to change. You don't fix your problems. You fix the way that you look at it, you think about it. And then your problems fix themselves. And really, what are the problems? Your way that you're approaching it, your thinking, your stinking thinking. And so yeah, it would be great if we all got together and said, this is the most inefficient way of anything. I need to eat today, right? There's points. If I ever get into a point of being able to employ someone and I have the means to it, that's how I'm going to do it. If they meet the moments of it and showed me that they're worth at that aspect, right? That they're willing to keep on giving and giving in a way to not take, right? You got to leave it better than you found it. And regardless of all that, in a sense of saying, it's not that everything, the but aspect, and just to let you know those points of when, especially when it comes down to your boss and an economic aspect of, exchange, of bartering, basically. Your boss, it's not that they don't care. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just a poop and they really are just an A-wipe. Absolutely. And their cocksureness is just slapping everybody in the face, right? Quoting AA, right? There's points. To the simple aspect that when they say but, the thing that is before the but isn't highlighted as any importance to the after the but, right? It's not. How was your weekend? But we need to get to the right? It's not that they don't care. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. That's not even the point. The point is that they're psychologically gearing you up to be super willing to do whatever needs to be done. Because there are points. Life moves on. Society keeps going, regardless if it's right or wrong, and regardless of who won the war, that absolutely then goes and writes the narrative. But if you're so willing not to do anything to work on yourself and you're going to complain, you're the problem. You're the reason why society is the way that it is, because you're allowing it to. No one is forcing you. They really are not. I'm not going to state that there's not going to be consequences for your inability to actually act instead of react, because there are. There really, really is. But how are you going to handle it? That's the point of where I'm reaching in this whole means of what way are you going to act appropriately? How you're not going to steal anybody's peace of mind, because no one deserves that. No one deserves to give their peace of mind away. No one deserves to take that peace of mind, regardless if it's yours or not, right? Because if you are not able to work on yourself, yes, it's great that you're able to take or get back what is yours, because maybe it's time to work on yourself in that aspect. And you're letting the load for everyone else around you, right? You really, really are. And yet, it's how you look at it. That's really what it's about, And so, what inspired me basically to do this is because I was angry. Oh my gosh. I love doing the, praying and meditating, asking for help and then getting the answer, because recovery is all about the solution, not the problems. It really, really is, because the problems got me here, right? My thinking, my approach, and it doesn't matter if it's anyone else's approach. Two wrongs don't make a right, unless we're talking in math, right? A negative plus a negative makes it a positive. Oh, okay, whatever. That's great. But what psychological background and context are we really psychologically gearing everybody to be, trained badly? unhealthy brainwashing, basically to say, because everything's brainwashing. It really, absolutely, it is. It really, really, oh my gosh, it is. If you like it, you're probably part of the clique. If you don't like it, you're probably going to find it in a way of it's a cult, and they are just brainwashing you. And yet, in the simplest way of looking at it, of me just, oh my goodness, of me just going ahead and saying, I'm reaching out right now and I'm not isolating from the solution because I'm praying, I'm asking, I'm putting the work in because I don't want to react anymore. I want to act on the solution and not focus on the problem anymore, right? I'm letting go and letting God. This is how I'm not isolating, essentially, by doing this podcast, by doing everything I do in recovery, because I know if I'm not good, no one's going to be good. So I need to get good for myself so I can be good for others, basically. And I realize every moment that I got angry, the solution never got highlighted. Yeah, because not everybody can be not a poop head, in a simple way of saying they don't know how to focus on what's being said to then be able to, per se, give a solution. There's points to where I'm just doing my job and I'm just a driver and I can't give feedback to correct the name of the restaurant. Are you? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Maybe not right now, but there are points, right? Don't give me that excuse that you don't care right now. Okay? Say it properly. Maybe not right now, but I'll see if I can do something about that. All right? Don't just go, "Oh, well, in the parent of my parent, whatever ride company I'm doing, they don't actually state where I can do that at." Oh, okay, that's cool, but when you talk to them, right, now you can do it. I get that at this moment, it probably doesn't make logical sense. I get it, I know. But don't be a poop head. And yet, there's that point too. I can't go ahead and be like, oh, I mean, I can, right? But may I not? Absolutely. Absolutely. And quoting one of my friends, and it's crazy to say that I have friends. It's crazy now that I'm in recovery that I don't just ghost everybody, right? And then there's that funny part when I do ghost, or in the past, right? It happened to me, and I'm like, this isn't how you're not. Did you not get the memo that I'm the most one that you're supposed to bow down to because you are stupid. You are being stupid. Oh my gosh. Your BS is all I can see right now. But it's because that wasn't good for me. Right? Yet quoting in a sense of my friend that, yeah, they've been in recovery and they kind of gone down the same path that I am at. And I see them like almost every day. Right? I do. Absolutely, I really do. Basically. And I love my friendship with them. I really do. I still cherish them, right? Because they're able to get me out of my head, right? I mean, points. When I'm like, they're helping me. They're helping me lead and see, the differences and the just the aspect of why I write down these definitions. Because then my step work that I give and that I have done, basically for my sponsor to my sponsees, is write down these character defects definitions. Why? So you can have some context of, a relatability of, in the simple metaphor of what is my stubbing my toe is not adequate to say I cut my arm off and react that way, right? It's an inconvenience, it's just a little thing, but don't make it your forever, right? Yet, it's also about the relating, the unity factor, right? Tradition one, right? Basically creating a safe place, right? It's funny. Recovery was already on creating safe places before society got on it because no one knew how to actually work on themselves. They just knew how to complain, basically, right? I mean, really, 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 really. And waiting for somebody to come save them as a religious approach. Like, maybe you're the one. Maybe you're the one to change the world. Right? A spiritual approach. And what world are we talking about? Yourself. We're not changing the timeline of life. We're not changing that reality. No, we are not. We're working on ourselves. Right? But not everybody, in a sense, maybe gets it, doesn't get it. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. Where I'm going with the whole May thing, in the wording of society or whatever it may be, because they love to play semantics. So they love it. They're like, I love this thing. I also love the weather. I will live for the weather. I don't even care about whatever else is going on. I will watch the weather. Right? They had like a dream to be a storm chaser or whatever, and so they love the weather, but they also love words. I love words. Oh my god, I love words. Like, give it to me. Yes. Oh my god, give me that ology, the study of, etymology, the study of words. Give me that history, because I don't like to shut the door in the past. But there's points where I'm gonna, find a way to make it a little bit, leaving it better, right? So, it's instead of saying may, it's supposed to be like could or should. I agree. You don't should on yourself. You really don't should on yourself or anyone else, because now blah 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 blah. Right. So anywho, you know, where was I going with that? I'm not even sure, and I'm not going to go back and listen to the thing. I need to really highlight something, unless I really do. There's points, but I'm realizing I'm not putting the podcast out because I have to edit them and put them and slice them together. That takes so much time. I was like, oh, do I need to go ahead and pay somebody else for this? No. Just go back to what you originally would always approach it as. Just put it out there. Right, right. That's the most important part. Don't show up to be perfect. Just show up. Right? Like, I know that I'm already perfect in the spiritual aspect of things. That, spirituality, in the simplest definition per se, is that you're already perfect within. You just have to recognize it. But if you're not good for you, and you're asking for help in all the places that are not within, then you might miss the point. And that's okay. It really, really, really it is. And so this whole entire, I guess, message of this episode of Pancake Marathon is that, are you looking at it the right way? Are you in your stinking thinking? Are you attempting to practice the principles in all your affairs? For real. For real. This is probably one of the most realist or authentic aspects. I mean, it's not like I wasn't being authentic on all my other moments of communication, such as this podcast and all aspects in life, because I am. Yet, I did not go ahead and pause it to go ahead and hit record again, to have to slice it together. I did pause this one. It makes it so much easier, right? Because I don't care. I see the value within just putting it out there. If I look like a fool, well, who's really looking like the fool? Because I'm not you, and yet the thoughts of me in your head is just really you, and you're projecting onto me, using me, and you're missing the point of anonymity. You really are. And now you're going to blame me for your actions because you wanted to stop acting like that, but you're going to blame me because you don't know how to work on yourself. You're going to approach it like Batman instead of approaching it like the true hero of Batman and Robin, which is the Joker, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't be a poophead. Anywho. Like, what? What is going on right now? Absolutely. Like, this is what is happening. Just saying, I'm just whatnot. And so, yeah, it's always how you look at it. But at the same time, what inspired me, absolutely, because I just realized I was saying, like, oh, what was the thing that got me here? Okay, but what is the solution, and why am I doing this? What's my why? How? What is the how? How am I being honest, open, and willing, right? How? Right? Okay, so I realized I needed to, or I felt the inspiration because somebody was asking, right? This is kind of like the step 5, in a sense, communication, right? And so I realized, I looked at my part, because it's step 4 and, step 10. When am I wrong, right? And I got to admit it, because, oh my gosh, there's a point where I don't want to hold on to that. I just want to get it done, not have that space being rented in my head, so then I have to go and clean my house, keep my house in order, keep my side of the street clean, and then zen my garden. I mean, I always want to zen my garden. Why not? There's points, right? Oh my goodness. Yet, simply to say, I got to this answer because I put the work in to clean my physical space, to declutter. Be like, do I really need this? Okay. I don't have time to do it all right now, but I do know I need to get it done. I need to put that into a priority list, right? Yeah, me simply saying right now is, if your life in any aspect is unmanageable and you're powerless against that because you have to get going, well, don't let it build up, right? Change the way you look at it. Put some time into self-care, respect, self-care, respect, self-care, respect. Those are the same thing, I'm just saying. And yet, simply to say, um, mm, mm, oh my goodness, you know, it's funny because my massage therapist, very spiritually in tuned. What else? Why else would you go to anyone else? Oh, because maybe you're not spiritually tuned and you're just perfect. Okay, that's great. You attract what you are. Okay, you think about what you. Okay, all those fun things to say. To simply say, they said, those that like yawn and burp and those I'm sure fart in a sense of saying too, more or less, are the real healers, right? That's how you can tell who's a healer. Simply to say, and so they're having these bodily functions because they are the ones that are transmuting whatever it may be to just going back to energy and sending it back to where it came from, to just go ahead, as I would quote it, don't like to porcupine, right? You look like a porcupine because all your energy is going everywhere and then you don't have enough and you feel exhausted and tired, and it's like, why? Well, then stop sending your energy all these different places and recoup, reflect. What is it? What's retrograde, right? I'm just saying, I finally kind of comprehend what that means by retrograde. The past is coming into the future, but whatever, you gotta blah, 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 mama, right? Just simply say, you know, change the way that you look at it. Work on yourself. If your space is absolutely cluttered, that's probably why you're angry. If your physical, like any space, any space, physical, mental, emotional, because those are the same thing. Mental, emotional are the same thing. Some could say the whole batter, whatever, the four things to run from, or in a circle of, kind of thing, and then the fourth one in that is spirituality. But it's a simple program. Why overcomplicate it? We've always overcomplicated everything, even those that are not working on themselves, especially the ones that are not working on themselves. Put it as a normie, right? Those that just focus on the money problems, which are like, what? You what? You're buying another shelf because you have too much stuff, and you like, okay, that's what I did too. I did. I did. I was like, oh, this is a great deal. Oh my gosh. And it has wheels. Oh, perfect. Oh my God, it has a different shelf. Oh, perfect, perfect. Oh, I have this other shelf, but I can use it for something else now. Blah, 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 blah. I have too many shoes. That's what it is. I have too many shoes, and I just need to get rid of them, basically. And there's points. Like, don't get more chit. Because why? If it's like, I don't even look at half the stuff all the time. It's like never. I'm like, oh, I don't even, like, oh, that's great that I have it, but I'm taking up mental space, and now I've got to clean it. And that's why I would never live in a huge house again. Never, ever again. Unless I had like $1 trillion coming in every day or whatever, Why? I'm not going to lock myself down with my physical things because that is pointless. It is ridiculously pointless. It really, oh my gosh, it is. It's whatever. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care to have value or find value within that aspect anymore. Like, it's such a spiritual approach from that one. But anywho, so in this conclusion of this episode of the podcast of Pancake Marathon, where essentially this is how I carry my message based around recovery and working on myself and letting go of that pain and finding value in everything, because what doesn't have value, right, there's that, everything has value. It's like oh my God, that criminal stole food from me and I'm the victim. Okay, societal BS. Really, okay, maybe they needed to eat today because they didn't need to eat, but their baby does. Okay, so really ask the baby, who's really the villain here, right? Now, I'm not saying that the one that did that action doesn't need to put action, right, to balancing things out, because life will do it for them. If they don't, truly, absolutely, they really, really will. because there's that collective aspect and all that, blah, 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 blah. And yet, really simply, I always attempt to focus on the simple aspects of what science says. Everything's energy, and energy can't be destroyed, it just changes form. So we're all just different aspects of the starting point of creation, whatever that may be. I don't know. What's your wording of your peace of mind or God that go to early direction, that God that go to early direction, the God higher power? I'm just saying, right, right. And so, you know, truly, you know, maybe life happens, right? And if you say that doesn't, well, then you don't have enough perception. You're just perceiving, which is childish next to perception. And then you're going to say, oh, I'm not in the hood. I don't want to live in that hood. Okay, if you have a hoodie on, you are in the hood. Are you in adulthood? You're in the hood. If you're in childhood, you're in the hood. If you're in manhood, you're in the hood. Right? It doesn't matter. You're always in the hood from that standpoint, right? I'm just saying. Yeah. This is another episode of Pancake Marathon, where this is just all about how I carry my message of recovery and sharing and not isolating and, getting to a point of, well, it doesn't matter what I have to say. Are you willing to find the value in leaving it better than you found it? Admitting that you have a thing that needs to change? Maybe you're thinking, probably, I don't know. I know for me, yeah, sure, absolutely. And then what do? I come to believe something to help me get restored to sanity, whatever that may be, right? And I have come to believe, and so then I believe in that peace of mind, quoting 12-step message of that fellowship, a power greater than myself, right? If I'm verbating them their message, sometimes I do adequate jobs of it, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't know, and I just did. Anywho, simply say, have a great one. Why not? Smile now, smile later, just smile. Oh my goodness. Anywho, have a great one. You are worth it. Your shoes do fit just right, and I love you because, well, maybe you do deserve to hug yourself. I don't know. Superman pose. High five yourself. Natural highs are amazing. Maybe the Mormons are onto something. Don't drink coffee. I don't know. I'm just saying. Nah. Anywho, have a great one. I love you. And your shoes do fit just right. And you do deserve to take up space because, this bit is that of, well, Pancake Marathon. What's your flavor of recovery? I know mine. I'm not changing any of those ingredients at all at the same time. Maybe one. And then I'm going to go and keep that as simple as that because that's what it's about. Don't F up the cookie. That inspired me to have the pancake aspect because I know there are some aspects to clearly state that don't do a 360, right? Do a 180 and then do a 360. What else would then be a pancake, right? I'm just saying. Yeah. Anywho, have a great one. Thank you. I love you. Aloha.